Welcome, one and all, hither and yon, to The Late Show. I'm your host, Stephen Colbert. Tonight, I'm excited too, John.
We back,
I'm excited to be back because tonight I am proud to announce that after a 17-day shutdown, I am reopening The Late Show. Yeah. I held my ground. Because I kept my promise and built a wall of mashed potatoes around my midsection over the Christmas holidays. The government shutdown, however, still going strong. Day 17. Remember, right before the holidays, the Senate passed a bill to keep the government open. And even though it did not fund his border wall, the president indicated, he said, I'll sign it. Until he saw this stuff.
You told us that you weren't afraid to shut down the government. That's why we like you. What happened? You just gave in right away?
Trump gets nothing and the Democrats get everything.
This was a cave. This was a blink.
Don't make threats that you're not going to follow through on.
So Trump shut down the federal government, citing Federalist Paper 58, and I'm paraphrasing, The Democrats, on their side, they just won a blowout in the midterms. And they did it by promising not to fund Trump's $5 billion wall. So they said, no $5 billion for you. In response, Trump said now he wants $5.7 billion. Look, can I borrow $10? No. All right, then 15, last offer. Trump defended the shutdown, saying everyone has known for a long time that we needed a wall.
This should have been done by all of the presidents that preceded me, and they all know it. Some of them have told me that we should have done it.
No, they haven't. Because we checked. Of the 4 living ex-presidents, Obama, George W. Bush, and Clinton all denied it. Even Jimmy Carter said, I have not discussed the border wall with President Trump and do not support him on the issue. So, even Carter.
He ain't doing it.
Even Carter.
Man, come on now.
Even Jimmy Carter doesn't want a wall, and Jimmy Carter builds walls. But Trump is convinced. He's convinced the Democrats are pro-wall.
President Obama recently built a wall around his compound. There's a reason for it, and I don't blame him.
I don't blame him either. And I don't have to, because there is no such wall. Okay, there may not be walls around Obama's house, but his house does have walls. If Obama were not such a hypocrite, he'd be living in a gazebo. Trump sounds like a slur. Coming out of his mouth, that sounds like a slur. You gazebo. Wow. Now, Trump reached back into history to prove why walls work, tweeting, throughout the ages, some things never get better and never change. Look at me, for instance. I'm horrible and I'm only getting worse. But he went on, you have walls and you have wheels. It was always that way, and it will always be that way. There is no such thing as progress. We've always had walls, we've always had wheels, plowshares made of bronze and bone. In summation, fire good. Trump, fire. Fans of fire.
Big fan. Like the caveman.
Trump doubled down on his analogy.
I said over the weekend to a number of people that, the wheel, the wall, there are some things that never get old. It's never going to change.
But it has changed. Technology has advanced beyond the wheel. How do you think we got to the moon? It wasn't in a '69 El Camino. Now, it's a sweet ride, though. It's a sweet ride. Little AstroTurf in the back. Now, it's possible that he's bringing up walls and wheels because he wants to combine the two. That would be exciting. A short mobile wall that could slide back and forth. to repel immigrants where it's needed. And I think I'm being told we have some footage of a prototype. Here's the refugee, and there's the wall, and oh, rejected him. Yeah, it works. That's a proof of concept. That's a proof of concept. Fund it. After the vice president met to negotiate with the Democrats over the shutdown, Trump assured us that when he does build his 2,000-mile impenetrable super barrier, you'll hardly even notice it. Mike Pence and group had a productive meeting with the Schumer-Pelosi representatives today. Many details of border security were discussed. We are now planning a steel barrier rather than concrete. It is both stronger and less obtrusive. Oh, thank goodness. Last thing you'd want in a border wall is something obtrusive. That's why they call it the inconspicuous wall of China. But the Democrats...
Great group.
But the Democrats apparently were not swayed by Trump's logic. So, over the weekend, he simply tweeted his giant floating head with, "The wall is coming." Forget the wall, just put that on the border. People will run. Turn back, amigo. There's a giant bloated skin bag on the horizon. Get out of there. And let's talk about that catchphrase for a moment. The wall is coming in Game of Thrones font. I can understand why Trump loves that Game of Thrones wall, because the only walkers who got through were white. Also, not sure where that was going. Not sure where that reaction was. Pro-white walkers in here now. Also, you can't say the wall is coming. That's mixing up two different things from the series. There's the wall, and there's winter is coming. That's like quoting The Godfather by saying, I'm gonna make him an offer he can't cannoli. And now, we're finding that the wall wasn't even Trump's idea. It turns out that during the campaign, in an attempt to get Donald Trump to remember to talk about immigration in his speeches, his staff came up with the wall as a memory trick for an undisciplined candidate. Your memory trick is just wall? It doesn't even rhyme. They could have said, keep him out with lots of grout. Or border control, dig a hole. We're gonna dig a hole, a big, beautiful border hole. When they think of me, they'll think of a hole. I promise you, I'm saying right now, I will go down in history as President A-hole. So far, that's called setting yourself up for your own joke. That's a self-setup is what that is. It's totally worth it. Totally worth it. Thank you, Joseph. Good to be back. So far, the Democrats have not come close to bending, but as usual, Trump's not taking no for an answer, as he recently told ABC News' Terry Moran.
Have you considered using emergency powers to grant yourself authorities to build this wall without congressional approval? And second,
yes,
on
I have.
Mexico, you have.
Yes, I have. And I can do it if I want.
Hey, Terry Moran, stop giving him ideas. Mr. President, have you considered executing all those that oppose you and then putting their heads on the spikes of the White House fence as a warning to your vassal lords? Oh, you have? Okay, good. Now, Trump's clearly thinking about it because this afternoon he tweeted, I am pleased to inform you that I will address the nation on the humanitarian and national security crisis on our southern border Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. Okay, Tuesday night, 9 p.m., that's prime time, okay? So people tuning in to see Blackish will have to watch a racist